You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Dead up perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the third part of What If Deku Meets Mario Verse. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of the Crimson Yinglet on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. UA High School. Later at UA, Hawks took off to do his hero patrol while Nizu, Tsukachi, Shirami, All Might, Midnight, and Mario were in the conference room with the Rabbids. Aizawa was asked to join along with them but was held up at the hospital for a health checkup. Thanks to Mario and Luigi, his injuries from the USJ were not that severe and he was healing up nicely. He was about to walk into the conference room when... That does it. Shirami screamed as she burst out of the conference room. These things are infuriating. I swear if I have to hear another yo, 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 or take another selfie I'm going to lose it. Really? #crazy selfie. Rabbid Peach said as she took a selfie with her and a distraught Shirami. Ah! I never want to see another rabbit ever again. Shirami screamed as she stomped off. Aizawa was left confused, just staring at the situation and this rabid creature dressed as Peach. Well, that was interesting. Midnight said as she walked out with everyone else. So I take it the meeting didn't go well. Aizawa said. Depends, Aizawa. We did get all the info we need and acquired new allies and tools in our fight against Cursa. So it went well in that sense. But the Rabbids are quite lively, to say the least. If it wasn't for Mario and Beepo we would all have ended up like the representative. Nizu explained. While Aizawa was processing this, he saw All Might walk out with Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi playing with his hair. Okay, that's enough now. Seriously, that's my hair, not rabbit ears. All Might yelled as he tried to get the rabbits off of him. Rabbid Mario. Rabbid Luigi. Stop it now. Or you'll get no pizza tonight. Mario ordered. Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi suddenly stopped and jumped off of All Might. They're like children. Are all rabbits like this? Midnight asked. Don't lump us all together. Edge said as she walked out. Our apologies and thanks, Edge. We are grateful that you weren't as energetic as your compatriots. Nizu replied. Hey. What do you mean by energetic? Rabbid Mario asked. It means exactly what you think it means. Mario explained. That I'm macho. Rabbid Mario replied as he struck a pose. All of the heroes and Mario just sweat-dropped at this. Look, normally I can deal with your antics but it's been a very stressful day. Plus I have a new responsibility at home, so for her sake you're going to need to tone down the chaos. Mario said. Ah, you're speaking of Arie. Nizu said. Huh? Arie? Who's Arie? Beepo asked. She's my soon-to-be daughter. Everyone, except Nizu, stared at Mario in shock. What? How? When? Beepo frantically asked. I'll explain later. Let's just go home for now. Mario then turned to Nizu. Thank you for your patience and for letting us store the spaceship here. It is no problem, Mario. You are one of us now and have selflessly offered to help us. It's the least we can do. Thank you. We'll see you later. Yes, tomorrow when classes start up again. We have a special announcement for both 1A and 1B, so we need you and your brother there. Mario nodded and left with the Rabbids. Once they were gone, Nizu turned to his fellow teachers. That was something. I really hope those Rabbids don't frighten Arie. You mean the little girl Mario and his friends saved? Does he mean what he said? Is he really going to adopt her? Midnight asked. Yes. Both him and Peach. From what he's told me, they plan to take her with them once they go home. Can they do that? Aizawa asked. She's still a Japanese citizen, can they really take her? They made it clear that they will, no matter what. Arie's situation has left quite the stain on our society in their eyes. They consider it a massive failure on hero society as a whole. That's not a fair judgment. There are rules that must be followed before heroes or the police can do anything, I know. And it's because of those rules that a child was forced to endure cruel experimentation throughout most of her life. While Mario doesn't hold it against any of us personally, he believes it marks a larger problem in our hero society. As such, he and his friends do not trust us with Arie's safety. Nizu's explanation seemed to have struck a nerve with everyone. They all stood in silence while All Might pondered on Nizu's words. He understood this problem well. In fact, there were instances where he may have taken matters into his own hands. But because of his popularity and the fact that everything worked out in the end, he was let off with a slap on the wrist. Other heroes would have had their licenses revoked and be labeled vigilantes. Still, would it be best to leave Arie with them? Especially with their new guests? Aizawa asked. I think it would, Aizawa. In fact, it might be just what Arie needs. All Might said, shocking everyone. Really, All Might? You do remember what those Rabbids were like, right? Tsukachi asked. Of course I do, old friend. They were very chaotic, like a cartoon, and that might be what Arie needs to help her forget her painful past. Some light and hilarious chaos to distract her from those dark times and help her smile again. After all, did any of you feel endangered by the Rabbids' antics? The rest of the group just looked at each other as All Might had a point. Sure, the Rabbids may have driven them up a wall, but it wasn't malevolent, just very chaotic. Like what you would see in a Looney Tunes episode. I see your point, All Might, and with Mario, Peach and Luigi there, I do believe it would be best for Arie to stay in their care. Nizu said. Now with that settled, we must make preparations for the sports festival. We need to tighten security for this year thanks to the USJ incident. I'll begin looking for extra heroes to patrol the grounds. Midnight said. I'll start creating training regimens for my students. Aizawa said. And I'll leave you all to it. I still have some cases to go over. Tsukachi said as he bid everyone goodbye. Now then, let's get to work, everyone. There is much to be done and so little time. Nizu said. Yes, sir. Aizawa, Midnight and All Might replied. In Cursa's space base. Overhaul and his lackeys were admiring the space base Cursa had brought them to. While it was far from Earth, the speed Cursa brought them proved that the distance would be no issue for their plans. As Overhaul was examining things, he noticed Cursa, sitting on her throne in silence. Cursa? Overhaul said to get her attention. Cursa did not respond. As Overhaul was about to try again, Cursa raised a hand to stop him. Just a moment, Chisaki. I am dealing with an annoying bunny right now. Inside Cursa's mindscape, we see Mirko striking and lashing out at the darkness surrounding her. As she was doing this, hundreds of dark tendrils come out to restrain her. She strikes at these as well as they wrap around her legs and arms. Let me go. Let me out. Mirko screamed while fighting against the tendrils. Enough. Cursa screamed as a large celestial hand came down on Mirko, pinning her to the ground. Your defiance was amusing at first, but it is quickly becoming annoying. So be a good pet and sit and behave. Cursa yelled in a threatening tone. Mirko just grinned at her. When I get out, the first thing I'm going to do is smash that stupid mask of yours into a million pieces. Cursa just glared at Mirko before leaving the mindscape and leaving Mirko trapped in darkness. Back outside. Cursa opened her eyes and turned to Overhaul. Sorry about that, Chisaki. Now what were you going to say? I was wondering what our next step is. We are well out of reach of that mustached freak, so what now? We continue with preparations, Chisaki. I had an army, twice, and Mario and his friends defeated them both times. This time, in a world full of strange, powerful and unique abilities, I want to be ready. Maybe you're the problem. Mimic, the small person, said. Cursa immediately shot out a celestial hand at him for this comment. It grabbed Mimic and began to crush him. What was that? Cursa growled out. Mimic. The other members cried out. Let him go. Rikiya, the large man, screamed as he tried to grab the hand. But Cursa had sent another hand to grab and crush Rikiya. Cursa let them go. Overhaul screamed, but Cursa just glared at him. You dare to try and command me. Cursa screamed back. Overhaul was angered by this but knew not to anger Cursa. Mario had easily bested him and he needed her help, so he swallowed his pride and got on his knees to beg. Please let them go, Cursa. Fine. Cursa said as she released Mimic and Rikiya. But do not expect mercy should any of you anger me again. The rest of Overhaul's group bowed their heads in compliance. Good, now as for preparations. I want to infuse you with dark mess. Dark mess? Chronostasis, Overhaul's aide, asked. It is my main source of power and will make you invincible against any foe who lacks the power of the sparks. Cursa explained. Fascinating, and do Mario and his friends have these sparks? Overhaul asked. Yes, but with time to adjust and get used to using the power of dark mess with your quirks, then we should prove to be victorious over Mario. Excellent. Overhaul said. Chrono, are our men on their way? Yes, Overhaul. Ah, your other members. Where will they be for pickup? Cursa asked. They'll send us a signal that your devices can pick up once they're ready. What are they getting? Our greatest asset. Cursa pondered on this until she realized what he was referring to. They'll fail. Cursa said. Mario defeated you, quite easily I might add, he'll defeat them as well. Mario and his brother will be busy at UA on that day, leaving Peach by herself to defend Arie. They'll succeed. Believe what you will, Chisaki. I will be waiting for when they need to be rescued. Cursa commented as she flew back to her throne. Overhaul was angered by this comment but bit his tongue. Back on Earth. Mario and Luigi had just left to UA, leaving Peach with Arie and the Rabbids. While the house given to her Mario and Luigi was spacious with the arrival of the Rabbids, it was now feeling crowded. They told Nizu about this and asked if he could use the funds from the gold coins to buy another house, but Nizu proposed a different idea. It was an idea he had for a while, and thanks to the extra funding by the sale of the gold coins Mario and his friends handed over, he could implement it. It will take a while, so he asked that the Rabbids stay with Mario and his friends until then. Peach was making lunch for everyone while the Rabbids faced their toughest challenge yet. To make Arie smile. Yo yo yo. It's Super Rabbid Brothers Super Show. Rabbid Luigi said as he and Rabbid Mario started to perform for Arie. Rabbid Peach and Edge were watching on the couch along with Arie. Don't break anything now. Peach said from the kitchen. Rabbid Luigi began to perform some dance moves while Rabbid Mario was playing on his mandolin. They watched to see if Arie had smiled. She did not. Rabbid Luigi jumped on top of Rabbid Mario and together they did silly poses. When Arie didn't smile, they continued to do silly poses, one after another, still nothing. With nothing left, Rabbid Mario lifted Rabbid Luigi and began to juggle him along with his mandolin and a couple of other items. Rabbid Mario looked over to Arie to see if this had worked. It did not. Rabbid Mario started to try even harder by juggling some items in each hand, and then with his feet. And finally he struck a pose which caused everything to crash onto his head. This got Rabbid Peach and Edge to laugh out loud. Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi looked up to see if Arie laughed. She hadn't. "Aw man, well that's all I got. Mamma mia." Rabbid Luigi and Rabbid Mario said in defeat. "It was a good try," Peach said while bringing plates of food. "Dig in everyone. It's creamy mushroom spaghetti." The Rabbids grabbed a plate each and began to dig in while Peach took hers and Arie's plate. Peach looked at Arie with concern as she still hasn't smiled since Mario rescued her from Overhaul. "Are you okay, Arie?" Peach asked as she got Arie ready to eat. "Yes, Mama." "Did you think Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Luigi were funny?" "Yes." "Then why didn't you laugh?" Rabbid Mario asked loudly, frightening Arie and earning a glare from Peach. "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." Arie began. I just can't." Arie began to tear up while the other Rabbids just glared at Rabbid Mario. "It's okay, Arie. You take as long as you need to heal. No matter what, Mario and I will be here for you," Peach said in a comforting tone. "Thank you, Mama." Just as Peach started to help Arie eat, the doorbell rang. "Oh mamma mia, who could that be?" Peach said while walking over to the front door. While she was doing that, Rabbid Peach got close to Arie. "Hey! Check this out." Rabbid Peach pulled out a photo on her phone of Luigi being chased by Rabbid Kong. "Is that Uncle Luigi?" Arie asked. "Yeah. I tricked Rabbid Kong into believing Luigi took his banana." "That's mean, not funny." "Ah. Well, that's all I got. What about you, Edge? What do you got?" "Oh, sorry, this really isn't my thing. I'm better at beating up bad guys, not cracking jokes, sorry kid." "It's okay, Edge," Arie said before looking towards the front door. "Mama's taking a long time." "Yeah, Peach is taking a while," Edge said as she looked towards the door to see Peach was gone. "Peach," Edge called out as she approached the front door. "Ha-cha." Peach's voice was heard along with the sounds of her fighting. "CRP. Rabbid Luigi with me. Rabbid Mario and Rabbid Peach stay here and protect Arie," Edge ordered as she grabbed her sword and ran out with Rabbid Luigi. When they ran out, they saw a strange scene. A large man was trapped in a yellow bubble with some monk. Peach was fighting 3 weird guys while one was upside down in a tree trying to drink booze. But the weirdest thing about them is that they all had weird masks on them. Edge ignored that for now and jumped in with Rabbid Luigi to help Peach. Peach had just used her Peach Bomber to throw off a man who grew crystals from his body. DMN. She ain't no defenseless broad. That hurt, even through my crystal. I was beginning to think that Overhaul was being overly cautious, but this chick can put most pro heroes to shame. 2 of the 3 men facing her said. Peach was about get ready to attack when she suddenly felt dizzy. What? What's happening? Feeling a little tipsy. The man in the tree asked Peach. That's how I feel every day. It's why I avoid walking on the ground. As Peach was stumbling about, one of the 3 men charged forward with his mouth wide open. Eat! He screamed as he lunged forward, but Peach evaded the attack and kicked the attacker away. What the? How is she still able to fight back? Is Sakiki's quirk not working? One of the others asked. Suddenly Edge jumped up and threw her sword at the man in the tree. The man leaped to the side to avoid the attack but was struck by Rabbid Luigi's frisbee, knocking him back into the path of Edge's sword. Sakiki was struck and knocked unconscious by the sword. What the hell are these things? Whatever, sword. The villain called out. Suddenly Edge's sword teleported to the guy's hands. Edge was shocked at first but quickly recovered with a smirk. All right then. Edge snapped her fingers and her sword flew from the man's hands and towards her. Edge grabbed her sword while giving a smug look to the villain. How did it do that? Is it that thing's quirk? No matter, I'll just wait for it to attack and then I'll take it. The villain said as his compatriot with the large mouth and the other that can grow crystals got ready to fight. Meanwhile the large man in the bubble was desperately trying to get out. What do you think you're doing, Rappa? The monk asked. What do you think? I'm trying to get out and fight. Rappa responded. Don't be foolish. Let those three handle it, you have a different mission. Rappa sighed and turned to punch the monk, but the monk had put up another barrier between him and Rappa. Now what are you doing? You're not going to keep me from this tonight. Let me out. Enough, you battle-hungry brute. We have orders, go and get the girl. Grr, fine. Rappa said in defeat. Tengai undid the barrier to let Rappa get Arie but kept up one to keep him from joining the fight. As Rappa went to grab Arie, Tengai watched the battle and how Peach and the Rabbids were beating the others. Just who or what are these things? Tengai asked himself. Just then he saw Rappa slam against his barrier. What the, Rappa? What happened? That was a good punch, little bunny. Rappa said as he got up. Frustrated that Rappa was ignoring him, Tengai turned towards the house to see Rabbid Mario with his dukes out. I'm Rabbid, not a bunny, and there's more where that came from, pal. Rappa had the biggest grin on his face. Alright. Finally, a good fight. Hey Tengai. I know, no barriers. Just make it quick. Alright. Rappa charged at Rabbid Mario and sent him flying with one punch. Ah, come on. Is that dash? Rabbid Mario came flying back and knocked down Rappa with his own punch. Is that all you got? Come on, put up your dukes. Yeah, you get me, little rabbit man. Let's go. Rabbid Mario and Rappa clashed again and began to trade blows. Tengai was watching with a slight annoyance. These things are stronger than they look. It seems I'll have to get Arie. Just have to wait for the right moment. Oh, nice outfit. Hashtag, monk life. Rabbid Peach said as she posed for a selfie while standing next to Tengai. Yes, hashtag monk. Huh. How did you get in my barrier? Tengai asked in shock, seeing Rabbid Peach inside of his barrier. Rabbid didn't respond and just shoved her gun in Tengai's face. Hashtag, boom. No. Was all Tengai could say before Rabbid Peach pulled the trigger. 3 small explosions went off inside his barrier and got Rappa's attention. It soon dissipated and a burnt and unconscious Tengai fell out of the smoke with Rabbid Peach taking plenty of selfies of her triumph. Hey, where you lookin'? Rabbid Mario asked before landing the knockout punch on Rappa. As Rappa fell down, the other villains were taken care of just as quickly. Now finished, Peach rushed inside to check on Arie. Arie. It's okay, Arie, the bad men were beaten. Peach said. Arie came out of the broom closet. Really? Yes, Arie. Arie rushed up to Peach, who grabbed her in a big hug. I was so scared, Mama. I know, it's okay now. You're safe with us. We promised to protect you, remember? Arie nodded while Peach wiped away her tears. She then turned to the Rabbids. Rabbid Mario, Rabbid Luigi, and Edge, please tie up those villains. Rabbid Peach, call this number on my phone and tell the man on the other end what happened. Peach handed Rabbid Peach her phone, already on Tsukachi's contact info. Rabbid Peach dialed it while the others tied up the villains and Peach was consoling Arie. At UA. While this was happening, Midoriya and his classmates were talking amongst themselves about who's going to teach the class today. I wonder who our substitute is going to be. Mina said. I hope it's someone hot, like Peach. Mineta said with a perverted grin. I doubt we'll be getting a substitute. Mr. Aizawa only had minor injuries so he should be fine. Azui said. The doors opened prompting everyone to sit and be quiet. Settle down now. Aizawa said as he entered the classroom. He looked to see everyone was already seated and quiet. Good. It's good to see you in good health, sir. Midoriya said. Oh, thanks. Since Mario and Luigi took on the biggest threat, I was left with minor injuries. Now then, on to your next challenge. Aizawa's words gave the students a sudden sense of dread. Oh no. Is it another villain attack? The students thought. It's time for the sports festival. The class was silent until. Oh hell yeah. Let's go kick some butt. Kirishima yelled, but Kaminari stopped him. Wait a minute. Is it really such a good idea to hold the sports festival so soon after some villains snuck in? They could attack once we're all in one spot. Kaminari, Jiro and Nojiro said in concern. The administration believes that doing this shows that the threat has been handled and that the school is safer than ever. The sports festival is a big opportunity for all students here at UA. It's not something we can cancel just because of a villain attack. Aizawa explained. Excuse me, but why not? It's just a sports festival. Mineta said with fear evident in his voice. Huh? Don't you know how important the sports festival is, Mineta? Midoriya asked. Of course I do, I just don't want to get murdered. The sports festival is one of the most watched events in the world. Aizawa started. In the past it was the Olympics, but then quirks came into existence. Now the Olympics have been dramatically reduced in terms of scale and viewership. For anyone who cares about competition, there's only one event that matters, the UA Sports Festival. That's right, and top heroes will be watching. This is where you get scouted. Yaoyorozu said with determination. Oh yeah, after graduating most people join hero agencies. As a sidekick. Kaminari said. Yeah, but that's as far most people go. They miss their chance to go indie and stay eternally sidekicks. In fact, you're probably gonna end up like that, Kaminari. You're kind of dumb. Jiro said. Why do you gotta be like that? It's true that joining a famous hero agency can gain you experience and popularity. That's why the sports festival is important. 1 chance a year, 3 chances in a lifetime, no aspiring hero can afford to miss this chance. And lucky for you in Class 1B, you get help this year. The doors open and Mario walks in. Mario and his brother have graciously offered to help train both first-year classes since he sees so much potential in you all. You would be wise to take it. Aizawa finished explaining. Awesome. He took on that bird guy, so I bet there's lots he could teach us. Kirishima said in excitement. To receive instruction from the hero who stopped the villain's strongest member, such an honor. Ida said while doing robot chops. Hey Midoriya. You know Mario, right? What's he like? Mineta asked. Oh, he's nice and knowledgeable. He was the one who helped me train for the makeup entrance exam. Midoriya answered. Bakugou heard Midoriya and began to think on his words. What? This nerd was trained by Mario? No wonder he's acting like this. Well, if he could get better then so could I. Bakugou said to himself. Enough. Aizawa yelled, getting everyone to settle down. Alright then. Mario, if you could explain what you have planned. As Mario was about to speak, Luigi came into the classroom. Mario. We have a problem. What's wrong, Luigi? There you are. Came a voice from behind Luigi. Mario looked to see a young girl with pink hair and wearing goggles and dirty clothes. You're the key to making amazing babies. She screamed. Mario and the rest of the class were frozen in shock at this statement. What? Mario screamed in horror. The pink-haired girl then grabbed onto to Mario. You know where it is, right? The spa dash. Aizawa quickly silenced her with his capture scarf and tied her up. How does she know about that? He thought. There you are, Hatsume. Yelled a hero with gear that looks like construction equipment. This was Myheroacademia Higuri, also known as Power Loader, the teacher for the support course. Sorry about that, she got excited over something she saw and left to go find you too. Higuri, we need to talk. Aizawa said with annoyance. Right, Aizawa. Mario, Luigi, it would be best if you joined us. Talk amongst yourselves and behave. Aizawa ordered as he left the room with the others. That was weird. I wonder what she was talking abo, Mineta. Are you crying, BLD? Midoriya shouted as he and the rest of the class saw Mineta crying bloody tears. He already has hot girls like that after him. And Peach too. It's not fair. Mineta screamed. Seriously. The class yelled in unison. Back with Aizawa, once he and the others were out of earshot of everyone, he turned to Power Loader. Okay, Higuri, how does she know about that? It's my fault. You see, Beepo asked me to help fix the ship up since it took some damage in your last travels. He gave me the blueprints and I was working at it late into the night. When I left for home, I left the blueprints on my desk. I figured it would be safe since the teachers normally arrive well before the students. But Hatsume came in early to work on her inventions for the sports festival and, well, she saw it and, the rest is self-explanatory. Higuri explained while rubbing the back of his head in embarrassment. Okay, quick question. What does she mean by babies? Mario asked. Oh, don't worry about that. It's just what she calls her inventions. Oh, mamma mia, thank goodness. That's a lot less creepy. Mario said with relief. Aizawa got their intention back on the main problem. With that out of the way, what do we do about her now? She knows of the secret item hidden here. Well, that is a problem. What do you suggest, Aizawa? Luigi asked. If it was up to me, immediate expulsion. Plus an NDA about the item stored here. Mario, Luigi, and Power Loader were shocked at this suggestion. Hang on there, Aizawa. Power Loader said. This is my fault, not hers. I'm the one who left the blueprints out after all. While her finding out about the item is your fault, she almost let everyone in my class know about it, and that's another issue entirely. Hatsume began to shake with fear in the binding cloth. That is when Mario walked up to Aizawa. Look, I admit she almost let out a huge secret, but she's just a kid. Kids make mistakes, as long as she learns from it it's fine. Hatsume's eyes lit up with hope at this. But, that doesn't mean you get off scot-free, little girl. You almost did let out a big secret, and I'll have to explain that whole babies thing to the class thanks to you. You may not be expelled, but you should be punished. And the NDA isn't a bad idea either. Glad to see you're not too soft, Mario. We should explain this Nizu. As her teacher, I'll take her, it's my responsibility after all. Come on, Hatsume. Power Loader said as Aizawa released Hatsume. She tried to rush up to Mario and Luigi, but Power Loader grabbed her. Behave or you will be expelled. Hatsume seemed to calm down at this and followed Power Loader to Nizu's office. While this was happening, Mario's phone rang. Hello? Yes. What? When? Is everyone okay? Thank goodness. I see. Take 2 of the Rabbids with you then. Don't want a repeat of last time. Okay, thank you, Tsukachi. Mario hung up with Luigi and Aizawa, wondering what that was about. Well? What happened, Mario? Luigi asked. More of Overhaul's men came to our home to try and take back Arie. Luigi and Aizawa were shocked at this. And? Did they succeed? Aizawa asked in concern. No, Peach and the Rabbids were able to defeat and detain them. That was Tsukachi letting me know what happened and that they were taking them to Tartarus. I suggested he take 2 of the Rabbids with him. So we don't have a repeat of Overhaul's escape. Good call. Mamma mia, it's only been half the day and I feel exhausted already. Aizawa smirked at this. You're truly one of us now. Welcome to teaching at UA. Thanks, I think. Come on, we still have to explain things to class 1A and 1B. Right. Mario and Luigi said following Aizawa back to class. Back in class 1A. Mario and Aizawa had just entered the classroom prompting all the students to be quiet. Alright class, now that the intrusion has been taken care of, Mario will explain his training procedure. Aizawa said. Alrighty class, this may sound strange but will be fitting 1 week's worth of training into a day. The class sat silently at this until. Excuse me Mr. Mario. Ida said while raising his hand. But could you explain in more detail please? Yes, the way you made it sound so intense. Yaoyorozu added. Oh it is, if we're getting into specifics, a few hours. All of the training will be done in a few hours, but it will be a week's worth of training. I hope you're ready kids. Mario said with a confident grin. Aizawa watched this and smiled. I like his style. Holy CRP. I wasn't expecting him to be so brutal. Kaminari said. I know right. I guess the saying's true, you can't judge a book by its cover. Zero added. Hey Midoriya. Mineta said getting Midoriya's attention. You've been through this before right? Is it really that bad? Well. No, don't say anything Midoriya. It's best they experience it for themselves. Same for you Uraraka, don't spill the beans. Mario said. What? No. You can't do that. You need to tell us. Mina shouted at Uraraka. Enough. Aizawa screamed making all the kids sit down and be quiet. Do you think villains will give you a heads up on their plans or traps they set up for you? This will teach to expect the unexpected. If you can't handle something as simple as this then you best give up on being a hero. Does anyone else have any complaints? The class stayed silent at Aizawa's question. Good. Later on when the class was dismissed the class of 1A found themselves trapped in the room by their fellow students. Huh? What's going on? Midoriya asked. Is there a reason you're here? Ida asked the students. They're blocking the doorway. I won't let you hold us hostage. Mineta yelled. They're scouting out the competition morons. Bakugou said in an annoyed tone. We're the class that survived a villain attack after all. Well now you know what future heroes look like. So this is class 1A. Said a voice from the crowd. A boy with messy purple hair and a tired look then came out of the crowd. I heard the class had some big egos but you just sound like an but. Is everyone in class 1A this delusional or just you? Bakugou got angry while the rest of the class did gestures to say it was just him. How sad to see that the hero course is full of egomaniacs. Coming to scout the competition, maybe some of my peers but not me. I'm here to send a declaration of war. A declaration? Midoriya said in confusion. The name's Shinso and I wanted to be a hero too, but I didn't make the cut and had to choose a different class. But that doesn't mean it's over. If any us make a good impression in the sports festival they can move us to the hero course. And of course, to make room, they'll have to kick some students out. Shinso's last sentence made class 1A get on edge. So I'm here to let you know, if you don't bring your very best to the sports festival I'll steal your spot from right under you. Bakugou just gave a glare and scoff before pushing through the crowd. Hey! Came another voice. He's not the only one to declare war. I'm Tetsu from class 1B and I'm here to represent my class. Whatever you extra. Bakugou said as he walked away. What was that? Tetsu yelled back. Whoa man. You can't just call everyone extras. Kirishima said to Bakugou, but Bakugou ignored him. Jerk. Anyways, you better bring your best 1A because 1B will. We even have a special teacher to help us this year. It's Luigi, right? Midoriya said, shocking Tetsu. We have his brother Mario teaching us, so we also get special training. No way. Tetsu said in disbelief as the crowd dispersed. Later after school, both Class 1A and 1B were in their gym clothes. Aizawa, Vlad, Mario and Luigi were there to start the special training. Mario walked up to address the students. Good afternoon, students. It's good to see you have accepted mine and my brother's offer. It won't be easy, but if you can make it through the training with us you won't even recognize yourselves afterwards. All of the students were in awe of this, but Midoriya and Uraraka were confused. Yeah, the training was tough before, but it wasn't as intense as Mario is making it sound. Mr. Mario. Midoriya said while raising hand. What kind of training is this? It sounds different from what we did. Mario smiled before answering Midoriya's question. That's because it is Midoriya. The training I put you through was so you could get a handle on your quirk since you're a late bloomer. This training will be focused on bettering your quirk usage and strengthening your bodies. That's why I didn't want you or Uraraka to say anything. Midoriya nodded in understanding. Was it like that for you, Uraraka? Azui asked. My training with Peach was more about finding better ways of using my quirk. Since I didn't really have any attacks beside making someone weightless, but Peach helped me with that. How so? Yaoyorozu asked. How to explain? Mr. Mario. Is it okay if I show them? Go ahead. Alright. Uraraka said as she touched the tip of her fingers together. She then floated just above the ground. Okay, now try and catch me. While confused by this, Azui did what Uraraka asked. She leapt at Uraraka, but Uraraka had dodged by floating to the side. As soon as Azui landed, she leapt at Uraraka again, but missed as Uraraka easily moved around her. Other students like Siro, Tokoyami and Ojiro joined in, and even some students from 1B. But Uraraka was easily able to avoid them. She was floating or dancing around them like a butterfly. Amazing. Midoriya said in awe. How is she doing that? Mineta asked. What do you mean how? It's her quirk. She make anything she touches weightless. Kaminari answered. Then shouldn't she be flying into the sky right now? You're right. How is she doing that? Flashback. Peach and Uraraka were in the blue void of the warp pipe for training. Thanks for the help, Peach. Uraraka said. No problem, Uraraka. Now how about we work on how you use your quirk next? Okay, what did you have in mind? Well, with what you told me your quirk does, I want you to do something like this. Peach started to float off the ground. Like this I can avoid enemy by staying just out of their reach but close enough to counterattack. Wow, but I can't do that. My quirk makes me weightless, so if I use it on myself I'll just float straight up into the sky. Peach thought on this for a bit. She suddenly clapped her hands together. I have an idea. Uraraka, come sit with me. Peach gestured in front of her. Uraraka nodded and did as she was told. Peach took out a deck of playing cards and held one in front of Uraraka. Okay, Uraraka, we are going to do ESP exercises. Huh? ESP? Yes, back where I am from there was a tennis academy that teaches techniques called power shots. To train for these power shots they offer a variety of exercises, one being ESP training. But I'm not a psychic. Neither are they, but they still can use this power. Uraraka sat in awe at this. Do you think I can do that? I know you can, just believe in yourself. With new determination Uraraka was eager to start. Okay, so for this exercise you're going to tell me what card I am holding. So, I have to guess. No, you're going to see what card it is. But it's flipped around. Focus on the card Uraraka. It will come to you. Uraraka began to focus on the card. She was scrunching her face in concentration. Don't try too strong Uraraka. Just clear your mind and focus on the card. Okay. Uraraka calmed down and focused on the card. After an hour Uraraka saw it. I see it. It's the 5 of Hearts. Peach smiled and flipped the card to show C was right. Good. Now let's do it again. Your goal is to see the card in less than 5 minutes. Right. They continued until Uraraka was able to see the card in 5 minutes. Good. Now you should be able to use your quirk more effectively. Will I be able to shoot out psychic energy? Uraraka asked excitedly. Oh no, you would have to be able to see the card in 5 seconds to even start that kind of training. Oh. Uraraka said in disappointment. Don't get discouraged now. This was so you could use your quirk better. Use your quirk on my parasol and look at it the way you looked at the cards. Peach held out her parasol for Uraraka to touch. Uraraka did this and examined the parasol with her mind's eye. Whoa, I see an energy flowing through my fingers and into the parasol. And what else do you notice about it? It's like my energy fills whatever I touch. Good. Now use your quirk on yourself, but try to keep energy around you. Okay. Uraraka did that and was able to feel the energy fill her. She focused the energy to surround the outside of her body. It's strong, but I think I got this. Uraraka soon started to float, but instead of flying higher she was staying right above the ground. Good job Uraraka. That's how I float, though I use magic. Really? Yes, it's inherited through my bloodline. Wow. Are ready to train that new technique? Yes. Good, so let's begin. The flashback ends with Peach creating an obstacle course for Uraraka. Back to the present. Uraraka was still evading everyone when. I'll catch you. Ida yelled as he charged at Uraraka with his quirk. Uraraka was barely able to dodge him, but Ida turned back and managed to grab Uraraka by her shoulders. Got you. Good job Rep, Zero said. Yeah, you're still too fast for me to keep up with. Uraraka said. Still, your mobility is impressive Ochiko. I don't think anyone except Ida would be able to catch you. Azui said. Good job Uraraka. Mario said, getting everyone's attention. Now that you see what Uraraka has accomplished with our training, does anyone still have questions? Bakugou raised his hand. Yes. Mario asked. Why them? Huh? What do you mean? Why did you train them first? Everyone else was also curious about this. It was by chance. I ran into Midoriya while he was training and was impressed by his drive. I offered to help him and he accepted. And is that all? Bakugou asked. Yes. Bakugou still felt something was off about Mario's answer but didn't push it. Alright then. So when do we start? Right now. Mario and Luigi pulled out a power star and used them on a warp pipe. The warp pipe turned blue once again and Mario threw it onto the ground creating the way towards the training void. Alrighty, let's say go. Mario said as he and Luigi jumped in. The teachers and the students followed soon after. With the exception of Midoriya and Uraraka, everyone was astonished by what they saw. Whoa! What is this place? Kirishima asked. I don't know but this is amazing. Yaoyorozu answered. Hey, is it me or does this place feel off? Mineta asked. Yeah, now that you mention it. It feels different from when I was here. Midoriya answered. Allow me to explain. Mario said, getting everyone's attention. Last time I only used one power star to create this void for us to train in, but this time we used two. One to create the space and the other to add a special effect to the room. What kind of effect? Midoriya asked. Mario smiled at this question. He turned and placed his hand on the ground and the void began to shake. 5 different pathways open up. Last time it was just you, Midoriya, but now we have 40 promising students with different quirks. So we need a training field appropriate for all of them. That makes sense, but how will the teaching work? As you said, Mr. Mario, there's 40 students but only 4 teachers. Yaoyorozu pointed out. Mario and Luigi smiled together and pulled their gloves. A poof of smoke surrounded them, and when it cleared there were now 5 Marios and 5 Luigis. Does that answer your question? Luigi asked. All of the students stood at awe of this. Whoa! Is that their quirk? One of the students from class 1B asked. I thought it was fire or super strength. Kaminari responded. So Mario and Luigi have the ability to clone themselves. Is there an upper limit to how many clones they can make, and can the clones act on their own, or do they need instructions from the main body? Do they act as a hive mind? Does Mario or Luigi see or learn anything that a clone does? Midoriya began muttering to himself. Please stop, Midoriya. Most of class 1A said, while class 1B just sweat dropped at this. Oh, sorry. Midoriya said while bowing his head. Okay, enough playing around. Mario and Luigi will take groups of you created by us based on your quirks. Aizawa began to explain. These were made into the following categories: physical-based quirks, speed and mobility-based quirks, attack-based quirks, technical quirks, and finally specialty-type quirks. With Aizawa's explanation finished, he and Vlad separated the students into their respective groups. With the groups made, each group went with a different pair of Mario and Luigi into their respective training areas. The speed and mobility group was one of the smaller groups, consisting of Tenya Ida, Tsuyu Azui, Hanta Siro, Ochiko Uraraka and Minoru Mineta. Alrighty class. Let's say go. Mario shouted as he put his hand on the ground and 5 obstacle courses appeared around them. Each of these courses were made specifically for you. Ida, this is yours, this one is for you Azui, Mineta over there, Uraraka's is over there, and the last one is Siro's. Ida looked at his path. He noted that it consisted of long paths with various pitfalls and bodies of water in between. Do you have any questions, Ida? Mario asked. Yes, I do, sir. These ponds and pits, are they? They're for increasing your reaction time. They are of various sizes. Some smaller, some bigger, and each one requiring a different action to pass. I see, and if I should fail and fall in one? You die. Mario said with an emotionless stare. The students were all terrified, until Mario and Luigi burst out laughing. Oh mamma mia. I'm just kidding. Did you see your face? Ha ha ha. Okay, but to answer your question, Ida, you'll be sent back here to the beginning of the course. I see. Ida said while recomposing himself. And after that? You try again. You keep going and going until you succeed. A hero doesn't give up after they stumble, do they? No, they don't. Ida said with conviction. Mario then turned to Azui. Azui's course was mostly water with some whirlpools and platforms over bottomless pits. Okay Azui, your objective is pretty much the same but more focused on your quirk. And if you fall in a pit, you'll be sent back here to try again. Right. Azui said as she got ready. Mario turned to Uraraka. You are to make it to the end by using your quirk to get from platform to platform. Uraraka looked at her course. It was a large pit with various platforms at different heights. The platforms will fall after a few seconds of you landing on it, so be quick on your feet. Got it. Uraraka said. Luigi went up to Mineta and Ciro, whose courses were very similar. A large bottomless pit with various platforms in between. Okay, so you two are to use your quirks to get over the pit. Luigi explained. Excuse me, but how the hell are we supposed to do that? Mineta screamed while motioning to the platforms. Those platforms are way too far and high. There's no way a normal person can make those jumps. Mamma mia, just use your quirks. Heh, no sweat. Ciro said while stretching his arms. Mineta, meanwhile, was nervously sweating. Why are you worried? Can't you bounce off those ball-like trampolines? Luigi asked. Yeah, but... Mineta looked towards the bottomless pits. I don't want to die. You know that was a joke, right? Oh yeah? Prove it. Luigi just shook his head as he walked into the pit. Mineta was terrified that Luigi seemingly killed himself. But Luigi appeared behind him, scaring Mineta. What the hell? See? No need to be worried. Dude. Why did you do that? To prove it's safe. Enough. You are wasting time and embarrassing UA, so stow your fear and remember that you are a proud student of the hero course. Ida said while moving his arms robotically. Well said, class rep. Now your goal is to get to the flag poles at the end of the course. Mario explained. Everyone got into their positions and started. The next group was the special quirk group, and they consisted of Momo Yaoyorozu, Rikido Sato, and Fumikage Tokoyami of Class 1A. The other members were Shurhei Kurwaro, Kinoko Kimori, and Pony Tsunatori or Class 1B. Okie dokie, you ready? Mario asked as he put his hand on the ground. 6 paths are created. Yaoyorozu's and Pony's looked like obstacle courses. Sato's and Kimori's were long hallways, and finally behind Mario and Luigi were to dark caves. Alrighty, now, you all are here because your quirks are unique amongst your classmates. Mario said, receiving a nod from the students. So we made special courses for each of you. Oh, and before I forget, here. Mario handed Yaoyorozu and Sato 2 bags. When they opened them, the bags were filled with premium chocolate bars. Hey! Kurwaro said, getting everyone's attention. Why do they get candy for their training? Allow me to explain. Yaoyorozu said. I'm able to make inorganic matter with my quirks so long as I have lipids to make them with. These candy bars are fuel for my training. So kind of like Padash. Production factory. Like a production factory. Luigi said, interrupting Kurwaro. You can make the product so long as you have the raw materials. Correct, Mr. Luigi. Yaoyorozu stated happily. Okay, and what about you? Kurwaro asked Sato. I turn sugar into strength. The more I eat, the stronger I become, but I'll start to lose cognitive function after a while. So like a sugar crash? Kimori asked. Exactly. This is some high-quality chocolate, by the way. I hope we aren't eating you out of house and home. Don't worry about it. Mario said while waving his hands dismissively. Now you are smart, Yaoyorozu, but you seem to lack quick thinking skills in battle. Yaoyorozu was shocked at this. During the USJ incident, when you were separated by the mist guy, you were quick to make weapons for you and Jiro. That was good thinking, but if you had made an insulating item to protect you and Jiro from Kaminari's quirk, you would have taken out the villains much easier. It's safe to say that you were able to take out the villains because of how few of them there were, thanks to Peach. Mario had a point, Yaoyorozu thought. Back during the battle, she only thought of the short-term solution instead of considering how to end the fight quickly. I see, and this course will help with that. Yes, there will be various traps activating that will require you to make split-second decisions. And the course changes every time you restart, so you won't be able to memorize where the traps are. We are trying to improve your reaction time and quick decision making after all. Right. Yaoyorozu said in determination. Mario turned to Sato. As for you Sato, go ahead and take few steps into that hallway. Sato did this and a large stone block appeared behind him and tied itself to him. What the? These are called womps, they are rock people from my home, the further you walk in the more appear and tie themselves to you. Your objective is to get further and further with each attempt. Okay. While Mario was explaining things to Yaoyorozu and Sato, Luigi was explaining Pony's and Kimori's goals. Okie dokie, so from what your teacher has told me about you two, you can shoot those horns out of your head and you can grow mushrooms everywhere, right? Both Pony and Kimori nodded in response. Good, now as for you Pony, your goal is to reach the flagpole at the end of the obstacle course using your quirk. Luigi gestured to the course. It consisted bottomless pits, platforms and gates. There are buttons that open those gates. Luigi explained. You'll have to use your quirk to hit them. Got it. Good, and as for you Kimori? Luigi said gesturing to Kimori's course. It was a long hallway with gates and a flagpole at the end. Instead of buttons there are specific squares where you will need to grow mushrooms. Just those squares, if you grow them anywhere else you will have to start over. Okay, can I ask you a question Mr. Luigi? Go ahead. Is it true that the place you come from is called the Mushroom Kingdom? Luigi was a bit surprised by this, wondering how she found out. But he brushed it aside and guessed it would do no harm to tell her. Yes, how did you find out? I was in the shop when you were talking to your orb and comparing Japan to the Mushroom Kingdom. Luigi then remembered seeing her at a ramen shop he visited when he was exploring Japan. Hey! Kimori said, getting Luigi's attention. Do you think I could visit the Mushroom Kingdom sometime? That's not really up to me. I would have to ask the princess and your teachers. Okay. Kimori took her place to start. Mario and Luigi walked up to Tokoyami and Kurwaro. As for you two, your cave, Kurwaro, is an obstacle course filled with lights to illuminate the darkness. You have to avoid the lights and make it to the end. Luigi explained. Sounds simple. As for you Tokoyami, you and me will be going into the dark cave to work on your quirk. Mario explained. No obstacle course. Not yet. Let's focus on controlling your quirk when it goes out of control and maybe work on your weakness to light. That's right. You can make fire, but still, dark shadow grows immensely powerful and dangerous in darkness. Will you be able to stop him if he goes wild? Don't worry about it. Now let's say go. Mario took Tokoyami into the cave while Luigi monitored the others. With the technical group, they had a shared obstacle course as they were the largest group consisting of 14 students. These students were Koji Koda, Mizo Shoji, Kyoka Jiro, and Toru Hagakure of Class 1A. And Yosetsu Aways, Yuri Kodai, Naranjiki Shoda, Kozai Tsuburaba, Setsuna Tokeage, Manga Fukudashi, Juzo Hananuki, Kojiro Bando, Nido Monoma, and Reiko Yanagi of Class 1B. Okie dokie kids. To get past this obstacle course you'll have to get to the end while collecting keys that are scattered throughout the course using your quirks. Mario gestured to the course while holding a key in his hand. Yosetsu Aways, whose quirk was weld, stepped up to observe the course. There was platforms, pitfalls and various items strewn about. They looked like building blocks, boards and similar items to build bridges or anything else the students may need. How many keys do we need? Aways asked. Just 5. And is it everyone for themselves or can we work together? Monoma, a student whose quirk allowed him to copy the quirk of anyone he touches, asked. You can work together, but don't think you can memorize where the keys are. If you fall and sent back to the beginning the keys will be hidden in new locations. I see. And also there will be this blue wall chasing you. Luigi said, pointing to a blue see-through wall at the start of the course. If it hits you, you are sent back to the beginning and have to try again. And what if we pass and the others fail? Shoji asked. When you get to the end you will be sent back to the beginning and do the course again. This is training after all. You keep doing this and improving yourselves. Shoji and the other students nodded at this. Koji Koda, a boy who can control animals, walked up to Mario and whispered something to him. Ah! Aizawa, the animals. Aizawa walked up with 2 animal carriers. When he opened them, a bunch of pigeons flew out. Use these pigeons to complete the course, Koda. And don't forget to put them back in the carrier. Aizawa said as he walked back to the warp pipe. Alright, begin. Mario shouted. All the students started the course, using their quirks to get past the platforms and find the keys. The next group was the attack-type quirks. This group consisted of Yuga Aoyama, Mina Ashido, Mashareo Ojiro, Denki Kaminari, Shoto Todoroki, Katsuki Bakugou, Senkaibara, Toguro Kamakiri, Itsuka Kendo, Ibara Shiozaki and Hiryu Rin. They followed Mario and Luigi into a large arena. Alrighty. Mario said as he turned to face the students. Since your quirks are more combat-based, we will be doing combat training. Mario snapped his fingers and a bunch of wireframe people appeared in a flash of light. What are those? Mina asked. These are called wireframe dummies. They fight like actual people but feel no pain. The perfect partner to test your combat skills against. Mario answered. Bakugou couldn't help but smile at that last statement. He could let loose with his quirk and they could fight back. It was the perfect exercise for him. Now don't get overconfident. Luigi warned. These dummies will adjust to you. Your fighting style, your quirk and how you use it. If you just use the same old tricks constantly to try and beat them, you'll find yourself to be their punching bag. The students nodded at Luigi's explanation. While it was worrying that these dummies will adapt, it would prove to be great training to improve. Me and Mario will watch and give tips when you need it. We'll also make sure the wireframe dummies don't put you in the hospital. Most of the students tensed up at that statement. You're kidding, right? Kaminari nervously asked. These are the dummies me and my friends use to train for special tournaments, and they are just as strong as me. Do you think I'm kidding? Mario asked. The students began to get nervous when Bakugou spoke up. If you're scared of getting hurt while training, then stop trying to be a hero, you DMN extras. While Bakugou's comment was rude, he was right. Hero work can be dangerous and many heroes get hurt in the line of duty. With newfound conviction, the students got ready for combat. Okay, the goal is to defeat 100 each. You can do so by destroying them or knocking them out of the arena. If you get knocked out or out of the arena, the training is over for you. Mario explained. What happens after that? Kendo asked. You rest up and once you're ready you get back in and continue. Luigi answered. The students nodded and took their place in the arena. Finally, the final group being the physical-based group. This group was consisted of Ejiro Kirishima, izukumidoriya, Jiroda Shishida, and Tetsu. Mario placed his hand on the ground and a strange obstacle course appeared in front of them. That's new. Midoriya said to himself as he observed the obstacle course. It looked like one of those courses you would see on bad reality TV programs. The first course was a set of spinning platforms, after that the sumo bots from before, and finally a treadmill that looked like it could change its incline and had strange boxes in front of it. Okay, now this course looks strange, so let me explain how it works. Mario started. The first challenge is these spinning platforms. You'll have to go from each one and change its elevation by twisting, holding on to the handles on the sides. You will have to collect these coins. Mario then held up 3 coins. 1 gold, 1 red and 1 blue. The gold is worth 1 point, red is 2 and blue is 5. You will have a time limit, take too long and you start the course all over. The students nodded at this. After you get 50 points you move on to the next course, the sumo bot. Your goal is to knock it out of the ring with the time limit. Again, take too long and you start over. And finally the treadmill. You will run on the treadmill as it changes speeds and inclinations. Your goal is to grab coins like the first obstacle. They will come out of these boxes, but that's not the only thing that will come out. Mario held up a blue ball around the size of a basketball. These balls will also come out. They may look normal but they are very heavy and will knock you back should they strike you. You fall off or take too long, back to the beginning. If you collect 50 coins the treadmill will stop and you have to get the flagpole at the end. And what happens after that? Shishida asked. You rest up and get ready to do it again. We are building up your body after all. Your group will do this for half the time you're here, then you will move on to the course the attack group is doing. The group nodded at this and took their starting positions. Alright, go. Luigi shouted. The group took off towards the course. In Principal Nizu's office. All Might and Nizu were sitting down enjoying some tea. They should be in the special area for training by now. Nizu said. Do you think they will make the most out of it? Strong to say. All Might answered. Midoriya's growth was amazing and we were just getting him used to using his quirk. I'm sure the students will take full advantage of the opportunity Mario and Luigi have given them. Oh my, this might be the strongest group of first years in the history of UA. Indeed, by the way, what did you do about that young girl from earlier? You mean Mei Hatsume of the support course? It was troubling that she found out about the spacecraft and she almost let the secret out, but this could be a golden opportunity. How so? Mario and his friends were very adamant about keeping most of their technological advances to themselves. However, I think they would be more lenient on letting Mei Hatsume take a look at it. Is it because she's a student? Exactly. While they may not trust the government with their technological secrets, Miss Hatsume is just a student who has no ties to said government besides going to a prestigious school. And since she only wants to improve the devices she can create, I feel our new friends would be more than happy to help. They have, after all, selflessly offered to help our hero students. Why not the others as well? I'll trust in your decision, Nizu. I do believe you're right. Mario has been very willing to help train the next generation. Glad to have your support. Now if you'll excuse me, I must make sure lunch rush will have the students' lunches ready. From what you told me, while they may not need to eat while in that space, they will be very hungry once they come out. We must make sure we reward them for their strong work. Nizu then left the room while All Might was left alone with his thoughts. Thinking on how much of an impact their new allies from another world will have. He just hopes most of it is good. UA grounds. It was the day after Mario and Luigi's training session with the students of 1A and 1B. The students had taken full advantage of the opportunity that the brothers had presented them and went plus ultra in their training. It was a good thing that Nizu had lunch rush prepare their meals beforehand because, according to Mario and Luigi, the students ate like a ravenous pack of Yoshis. Nizu was curious about what these creatures were and made a mental note to ask Mario about them at a later date. Afterward, the students continued training on their own since there were still a few days until the sports festival. Meanwhile, Nizu had asked Mario and Luigi to help train the other students. Two students that Nizu thought showed a lot of potential. One was Mei Hatsume, the support course student who had accidentally discovered Bepo's spaceship. The other was a general studies student whom Aizawa had asked Nizu for special permission to train. He reasons that the entrance exam didn't give him the proper chance for his quirk to shine since it couldn't work on robots. After reading the student's files, he agreed that his quirk sounded too useful to let him stay in general studies. He would be given remedial hero training under Luigi and Aizawa and, if he does well enough, would be moved into a reserve hero spot shared between the classes of 1A and 1B. Luigi and Aizawa had taken the general ed student into the blue warp pipe with the use of another power star, so he could catch up with the hero course students. While they did this, Mario was with Power Loader in the support course to help Mei with some of her inventions. Everything seemed to be going well, until... boom! Mei Hatsume. One of Mei's inventions exploded, causing Power Loader to stress out and creating a fire in the support course lab area. Luckily, Mario was there with Flood to put out the flames. Sorry about that, sensei, but I had to see how far I could push my baby. Mei said as she dusted herself off. Power Loader was about to lecture her, but she had rushed up to Mario with stars in her eyes. Speaking of babies, what's this one, Mario-sensei? Hello. I am Flood. Flash, liquidizer, ultra, dowsing, device. It is a pleasure to meet you. Flood answered. Is it sentient? I was designed with an adaptable AI to assist my owner. Mario is my current owner, and I will aid him in any way I can. Whether through my water shooting functions or providing advice in dealing with troublesome adversaries. I can also pick up nearby radio chatter to gather any information that may prove helpful. Mei was astounded by this. A fully sentient and adaptable AI with functions to gather information and put out fires. I also have many other nozzles to aid Mario. Such as the hover nozzle, the jet nozzle, and the turbo nozzle. All of which, Mario can access and use at will, provided my tank has appropriate water levels. Amazing. I must know how you work. Mei shouted as she tried to pull Flood off of Mario. Mario backed away and tried to keep Mei away from Flood. Mario, please don't let her get me. I do not wish to be taken apart. Come on. I promise I'll put you back together. No, I do not trust you. Mario kept running around a table to keep Mei away from Flood until Power Loader grabbed her. Alright, that's enough. Taking apart equipment in the lab is fine, Mei, but that device is Mario's device and can speak for itself. If it says it doesn't want to be taken apart, then we have to respect its wishes. Mei pouted a bit while Mario breathed a sigh of relief. He then pulled out some papers from his overalls. Now, Mei, I spoke with Gad yesterday. He was the one who made Flood and my brother's poltergust, and while you can't take apart our equipment, he did say we could give you these. Mario handed Mei the blueprints for the first drafts of both Flood and the poltergust. Mei lit up as she grabbed the blueprints and examined them with vigor. Mario then handed 2 more copies to Power Loader. Here you go. What? Are you serious? I thought you wanted to keep your technological advancements to yourselves. We do, that's why we're not handing over our equipment. But Gad is curious if the scientists of this world could replicate his work or improve upon it. That's why he gave us these blueprints to give to you. Well shucks, I should thank the man if I ever meet him. That straw bulb especially seems useful. Phasing quirks are rare, but are troublesome when used by villains. If we had the tech to stop them, it would help out heroes and police all over the world. It definitely would. Let's hope you can make it. Give me and Hatsume a few months and we'll have a working prototype ready. Mario nodded and continued to watch over as Mei got back to work with renewed vigor. The next day. It was just a few more days until the sports festival and the staff of UA were checking the grounds where the games would be held. Midnight, Nizu, and Cementos were walking around the stadium with some of the extra heroes they had hired. These heroes were Kamui Woods, Death Arms, Mount Lady, and Uwabami. They were going over the security details such as exits, possible entry points for villains or other suspicious persons, and how to guide panicking citizens should a mass evacuation be needed. Okay, so exits 2 through 5 will be choke points and should be avoided during a mass panic. Yes, it would be better to direct citizens to the other exits since they are larger and less likely to get jammed. Death Arms and Kamui Woods said as they were looking at the schematics they were given. Glad to see you are proving our confidence wasn't misplaced with you. Preparing beforehand can be the difference between life and death in stressful situations. Having a plan in case things go south is necessary. Of course, we hope that we won't need such a plan and the sports festival will proceed smoothly. Nizu said with everyone nodding in agreement. As they were about to continue, the ground began to shake and a giant pipe came out of the ground in the center of the stadium. Everyone got ready for a fight, expecting another invasion like the USJ. Suddenly the pipe shifted and a large cloud of dust came from it. When it began to clear, the heroes saw many people in the dust cloud. Not taking any chances, Kamui Woods used his signature attack and created branches from his limbs that began to wrap around the people. I caught them all. Good, now we can dash. Nizu was interrupted when one of the captives broke her bindings. Before Kamui could react, she had rushed up and punched him so strong he flew into a wall. He fell to the ground, unconscious. Shinji. That's it. Death Punch. Death Arms had activated his quirk and threw a powerful punch at the assailant, but she avoided the attack and punched him straight in the gut. Death Arms had a look of extreme pain before he crumpled to the ground. Mount Lady and Iwabumi just stood there in shock, unable to do anything. Iwabumi's skills leaned towards rescue situations since her quirk allowed her to find people easily, her quirk wasn't suited for combat. And Mount Lady's quirk needed more room to work. If she grew to her full size now, she would cause massive collateral damage to the stadium. So, who's next? The brunette woman asked. She stood there with a cocky smile, ready to take down her next opponent. Cementos and Midnight got ready to fight, but Nizu held up a paw to stop them. Excuse me miss, but I believe there has been a misunderstanding between us. Really? How do you figure Snow Mauser? Snow Mauser? That's odd, why did you call me that? You remind me of someone back home, but with white fur instead. I see. Well, my name is Nizu, and I am the principal of UA. UA? What the heck is that? Some animal school. Everyone was shocked at this. How could they not know about UA? It was one of the best hero schools in the world. But Nizu smiled as her answer confirmed his suspicions. I knew it. These people are not our enemies, this is a simple misunderstanding. Mount Lady, Iwabumi, can you two please take Kamui Woods and Death Arms to the infirmary? We need to speak to our guests. The two heroines were confused but complied. With Nizu's request. When they were gone, Nizu, Cementos, and Midnight stood in front of the brunette woman wearing an orange dress. Now, do you know two men with mustaches and who wear green and red? Yeah. I see. And how about a blonde woman who wears pink? Yeah. And what are their names? Mario, Luigi, and Peach. Are they here? Cementos and Midnight now understood. Whoever this lady was, she was an ally of Mario and his friends. No doubt she was from the same place as them, so she had never heard of UA. Yes, in fact, I'll call them right now. We need to discuss these new events. Oh, I'm sorry, but I never asked for your name. It's Daisy. Right. Nizu made the call and explained the whole situation to Mario. While this was happening, Daisy went back to speak with the other people that came with her. Once the dust fully settled, it appeared the people were all part of a band judging by the instruments they had, and the leader, who was a tall woman with long brown hair, was speaking with Daisy. They also noticed some giant display behind them, no doubt part of their show. After a while, Mario arrived with Luigi and Peach, who was holding Arie in her arms. As soon as Daisy saw them, she ran up and hugged Luigi. Luigi! She screamed as she tackled and hugged him. Did you miss me? Yes. Are you going to do this every time we see each other? Maybe. Looks like you all are having fun. The leader of the band said as she approached the group. Pauline. Good to see you. Mario said as he stretched out his hand. Pauline smirked before she pulled him into a hug instead. Good to see you too, superstar. Hello, Pauline. Peach said as she approached her. Hello Peach, it's good to see you again. Pauline let go of Mario and went to hug Peach, but Peach stopped her. Sorry, but I can't hug while holding her. Peach explained. That's when Daisy and Pauline noticed Arie holding on to Peach while watching them with caution. Daisy was about to ask about her when Arie spoke up. Mama, who are those people? Daisy and Pauline were shocked to hear this. Wait, she called you Mama. Does that mean, gasp? I'm an auntie. Before Peach could explain, Daisy rushed up in front of Arie with a wide smile. Hi. I'm your Auntie Daisy. This frightened Arie, who buried her face into Peach's shirt. Don't do that, Daisy. She frightens easily. Sorry. So, you finally did the deed, superstar? Pauline asked Mario. No. It's complicated. By the way, how did you get here? Well, I had just finished a deal with Daisy so we can start making minis of her to add to the Mushroom Kingdom toy collection. We were walking out to the stage where my band was getting ready for a show tonight, and then the ground began to shake and a giant warp pipe came out and swallowed me, my band, and Daisy. Next thing I know, I'm here getting attacked by Ninja Pinocchio. The UA staff chuckled a bit at that jab at Kamui Woods. So, mind telling me the deal with that girl? If she calls Peach Mama, does she call you Papa? Before you begin to explain, we need to talk about what happened. We have many new visitors and a giant pipe in the middle of our stadium. Mario, we're hoping you and Luigi will be able to help us with this endeavor. Of course. Just give us a minute. Mario and Luigi got to work fixing the warp pipe. All anyone could see was a dust cloud as the sounds of hammers banging against metal could be heard. Once it was done and the dust cloud had settled, everyone saw the pipe looked shiny and new. Okay, the warp pipe is fixed and can take you home, but there is a problem. What would that be, Mario? Nizu asked. The problem is the size. Since it's so big and transported so many people, it will need time to gather enough power to send them back home. Luigi answered. How long? About 3 days. Oh dear. That's when the sports festival will begin. I know, Nizu. Luckily, it should be ready to transport Pauline and her band back home right when the sports festival is about to start. Oh, that's good, Mario. Cutting it close, but that should work out just fine. Indeed, which leads me to an idea. Pauline, can I ask for a favor? After everything you've done? Anything you want, superstar. Mario then discussed his idea with Pauline and the UA staff there. Everyone liked the idea and agreed to implement it. A few days later. The day of the UA Sports Festival had arrived and everything was in full swing. Kamui Woods was patrolling the concession stands with Death Arms and Mount Lady. Everything seems to be fine here. Yep. By the way, are you okay after what happened that day, Shinji? My pride is hurt, but my physical wounds have healed. You? Same, I can't believe how strong that woman was. She'd make an excellent hero. Well, she is a friend of UA's special teachers. So that's close enough in my opinion. Still, did you hear about what she did to Gang Orca? Oh, you mean when he was testing her for a provisional license? Yeah, I did. Wouldn't have believed she took out one of the top 10 heroes if he didn't confirm it himself. I wonder why he challenged her to a spar though. Probably curious about her strength. I heard when the other visitors took the test they blew all the previous records out of the water. He probably wanted to see how he fared in combat against one of them. Then it's a good thing they're on our side. Yeah. Mount Lady, why aren't you talking? Don't have anything to contribute to the conversation? Kamui Woods asked as he turned, only to see Mount Lady at a takoyaki stand. She was using her feminine charms to get free food, much to Kamui Woods' chagrin. Meanwhile, the class of 1A was in the waiting room, prepping for the festival. Man, I can't believe it's finally here. Are you just as excited, Deku? Uraraka asked Midoriya. Oh, yeah. I just hope I put all the training I did to use. I don't want to disappoint Mario or All Might. Oh yeah, why did All Might ask you to join him for lunch that day? Flashback. Midoriya was pulled away by All Might during the lunch PRD. Midoriya was sitting in a room with All Might and Mario. Mario then pulled out a lunch that Peach had made for him while All Might pulled out his lunch. Do want some sandwiches, Midoriya? Sure, thanks All Might. Want some spaghetti? Peach made plenty. Sure Mario, thank you. After making Midoriya a plate, All Might got straight to business. So, how was your training session with Mario and Luigi, Midoriya? Did the other students take full advantage of that pipe? Oh, yeah, it was great. I think we all made huge strides in our training. Though, those wireframe dummies were tough. They hit really strong. Midoriya answered while rubbing his cheek and stomach. Those are the same dummies me and my friends use when training for our fighting tournaments. So it makes sense that they are strong. Mario answered as he ate some spaghetti. I see. But it was still great training. And everyone was giving it their all. That's good. Now, about the sports festival, have you figured out what you're going to do? Huh? Midoriya was confused by All Might's question. The sports festival is a big chance for fledgling heroes like yourself. It's one of the most important events for for the country. I gave you my power for one reason only, because you are the next symbol of peace. This is your debut, I want you to use the sports festival to introduce yourself to the world and proudly say that I am here. Midoriya and Mario were stunned by All Might's speech. Wow! Mario said while clapping. Midoriya looked at his hand, remembering all the training he went through to reach this point. He clenched his fist and looked at All Might with determination. I will All Might. I won't let the training you and Mario gave me go to waste. That's good to hear. Back to the present. He was just giving me some tips on how to use my quirk since they're so similar to each other. Wow, that's so cool. Uraraka said in a giddy tone while Bakugou overheard their conversation. Private lessons with All Might? DMN, Deku. Wait, he didn't get his quirk until All Might showed up. Bakugou thought to himself. While this was going on, Todoroki approached Midoriya. Midoriya and everyone else turned to Todoroki. Yeah. I think it's fair to say, that from an objective standpoint, it's clear that I'm stronger than you. But you have All Might in your corner, plus Mario's special training from before the school year started. I won't pry into your relationship with them, but know that I will beat you. Everyone was taken aback by Todoroki's hostility. Whoa man, the sports festival hasn't even started yet. No need to be so aggressive. Kirishima said, trying to de-escalate the situation. He placed his hand on Todoroki's shoulder to try and calm him down, but Todoroki shrugged it off. We're not here to make friends. Todoroki curtly stated. That's harsh. He's right though. Midoriya said, shocking most of his classmates. I know, but... Remember, everyone from classes 1B through general studies will be aiming to win. We can't afford to hold back. So if you want to declare that you'll defeat me, then go ahead. Bring everything you got, Todoroki, because I'm not backing down. Midoriya and Todoroki stared off for a while. Man, this is so intense. Hagakure said with Mina nodding in agreement. Bakugou, meanwhile, was seething that Todoroki considered Midoriya more of a threat than him. Soon, it was time to go out and Ida ushered everyone out of the room. When they entered the stadium, they noticed a large object covered by tarps. Everyone was curious about what it was when Midnight came out to address the crowd. "Alright, now quiet down everyone. I said silence," she yelled as she cracked her writing CRP on the ground. Soon the crowd stopped cheering, not wanting to anger her. "Good, now, to make the opening pledge, we will ask the student with the highest score in the entrance exam. Will izukumidoriya please come up to the microphone?" Midoriya was startled that he was called to do the opening pledge. He was getting stage fright, but Uraraka and Ida gave him reassuring nods. He took a deep breath and stepped up to the mic. He stood there for a moment, not sure about what to say. But then he remembered all the training he did with All Might and Mario. With a final breath, he looked up to the crowd. "I just want to say, I never thought I would be here. Attending the UA Hero course and competing in the sports festival always seemed like an impossible dream for me. But when I was at my lowest, some amazing individuals appeared in my life and reminded me how to stand tall. To keep pushing forward even when the whole world is against you. They told me that I could be a hero and helped me move towards my dream. So in honor of those who have helped me get to where I am now, I will strive to win, to give everything I have here today. But I do not want to be the only one. Everyone here, from the hero course to general studies, all have their reasons to win. And no doubt have those who have supported their dreams. So I want everyone here to give everything they got. Let us all go beyond, plus ultra." Midoriya finished his speech by raising his fist. It was quiet at first, but soon the crowd erupted in thunderous applause. What an inspiring speech. "Thank you Midoriya, you may return to your class." Midoriya rejoined his class as Uraraka and Ida congratulated him on his speech. Meanwhile, All Might watched from the top booth with pride. "Good job, young Midoriya," he said to himself. Midnight then got everyone's attention. "Now, before we start, our new teachers have acquired a band to open the games with a song." The crowd was shocked to hear this. The sports festival never had an opening band before. Many in the crowd were excited to see who it was. "Allow me to introduce Pauline and the new Donk City Band." The tarp fell and revealed Pauline and her band ready to play. Mario and Luigi were seen also, standing on some warp pipes connected to a giant screen behind them. Pauline began to tap her foot, and soon she and the band began to play Jump Up Superstar. Mario and Luigi jumped into the warps and then appeared as 8-bit figures on the screens behind the band. They began to jump around on the platforms on the screen, collecting coins that spelled out UA and setting off fireworks that took the shape of mushrooms, fire flowers, and stars. The crowd was getting into it and the teachers as well. "Man, that is one bangin' tune. And that Pauline has a wonderful singing voice," Present Mike said as he grooved to the beat. Even Aizawa and Vlad, who were commentating in the booth with him, agreed. Peach was also there, as she and Mario would provide commentary as well. "Do you like the song, Arie?" Peach asked Arie, who she was holding in her arms. Arie nodded and moved her head to the beat. The uplifting tune of the song plus the fireworks made Arie feel happy and she began to forget about Overhaul. The dark grip his presence had over her was beginning to fall apart. Then, as the band played the final note, Mario and Luigi set off the largest amount of fireworks as they exited the screens, and the light that came forth chased away Overhaul's darkness and made Arie smile. Peach was surprised to see this. "Arie, you're smiling." Arie turned to Peach. Shocked at what she just did. I did. Mama, I can smile now. That's so good, Arie. I'm so proud of you," Peach said as she pulled Arie into a hug. The crowd began to cheer and clap as Pauline and her band finished the song. What a wonderful performance. Give it up for Pauline and the new Donk City Band. Midnight announced, causing another chorus of cheers. Thank you, thank you. And thank you, superstar. Please, once your adventure is over, visit New Donk City with Arie and Peach. I'd love to show her around the city. Pauline said to Mario. Of course, Pauline. See you next time. Mario and Luigi waved bye to Pauline as she and her band and their equipment were swallowed into the giant warp pipe. It shrank down and Mario and Luigi slammed their hammers on the ground next to it, breaking it and collecting the piece that fell off. Good, now the start of the sports festival. Our first game will be the obstacle course. Only the first 42 competitors to make will be allowed into the next event. All competitors, make your way to the starting line. Midnight announced. All the contestants walked to the starting line while Mario made his way up to the booths where Peach was. Luigi went to the seats provided to him and Daisy so they could watch the sports festival and the Rabbids. While Nizu did allow the Rabbids to watch the sports festival, they had to be under constant supervision by Mario or his friends. Hey everyone, it's Present Mike, here to bring you the hot commentary along with Vlad King and Erase Your Head. Want to give a few words there, fellas? Why did I let you talk me into this? I'm sure Class 1B will show their stuff. Glad to hear it. Also joining us are two of our special teachers, Mario and Peach. Want to say a few words? Hello, it's me, Mario. And I am Peach. Hello everyone. Nice, nice. Now let's get this show started. The first event of the festival. The obstacle course. Present Mike announced as all the competitors took their place. So, what's the first thing our competitors should be looking out for? The first, and possibly most difficult challenge in the course. The doorway. Aizawa answered Present Mike. The horn sounded and everyone took off and soon jammed the entryway of the obstacle course. Whoa, look at them down there. Packed tight like sardines. Glad I'm not part of it. Everyone is trying to rush ahead, paying no heed to their peers. That causes panic and blockages like this. It's quite common for something like this to happen in the field. Panicking citizens will rush toward exits and block them off. A hero's job is to calm the citizens and take control of the situation to prevent mass panic like this. This is a taste of what's to come once they graduate. Vlad commented. Back with the competitors, ice soon covered the walls and floor of the doorway, freezing many competitors in place. Todoroki then ran forward, getting a lead on everyone. Nice try, Todoroki, but it won't be that easy. Yaoyorozu said as she, and the rest of the hero course students got past his trap. I should have expected the other members of the hero course to get past my trap. Todoroki said to himself. Explosions were heard and bakugou was flying past the others and catching up with Todoroki. Screw you, icy hot BSTRD. Your declaration was made to the wrong person, it should have been me. Bakugou shouted as he continued to fly forward. Everyone continued to rush forward, trying to be one of the 42 to make it in. Ha! You fool Todoroki! Mineta shouted as he got past Todoroki's ice assault with his quirk. Did you think that trick would work? You have vastly underestimated me, and you will pay for dash. Mineta was slapped away, mid-sentence, by a giant robot hand. Targets found. Eliminate. It seems our competitors have made it to the next obstacle. The giant zero-pointer robots from the entrance exams. Present Mike announced. On the track, there were now a group of large robots, standing in front of the competitors and halting their progress. Eliminate. 2 robots reached out to Todoroki. But he froze them with no effort. So these were the robots my peers had to deal with. I wish they had prepared something more challenging, especially since my dear old dad is watching. Todoroki said to himself. Back in the stands, the number 2 hero, Endeavor, the flame hero, watched as his son got past the robots. He was frustrated that Todoroki was still only using his ice in an act of defiance. Hey, there's an opening between the robot's legs. One of the hero course students shouted. Everyone tried to run through, but the robots fell while 2 students were still under them. I wouldn't do that if I were you. I froze them while they were off balance, on purpose. Todoroki said as he continued getting ahead. Back with the others, the remaining robots were trying to attack the students when 2 flew by them. DMN scrap heaps, go to hell. Bakugou shouted as he blew one up. But a green blur flew by him. Smash! Midoriya shouted as he charged 25% of one for all to take out a robot. DMN it Deku. You won't get past me. Bakugou rushed after Midoriya and Todoroki. Back with the others, many of the students were showing off the fruits of their training by taking out the robots with their quirks. Banging was heard from within one of the robots that fell. Kirishima then burst out of the robot, not hurt due to his hardening quirk. Todoroki, you jerk. Anyone else would have been killed if they were under that robot when it fell. More banging could be heard and Tetsu, a student from 1B who could turn his skin into steel, burst out of the other robot that fell. That DMN ice BSTRD. If it was anyone else but me under that robot, they would have been killed. Ah, DMN it. Our quirks are too similar. Stop copying me, you copycat. Kirishima and Tetsu argued as they continued to rush forward. Man, your classes are breezing past the robots. What the heck have you 2 been teaching them? Present Mike asked Aizawa and Vlad. Nothing at all. This is all the result of their strong work. Each student down there has an unstoppable drive to improve. Yes, the undying flame to push on. All we needed to do was steer them in the right direction. Aizawa and Vlad answered. You heard it here first, folks. Aizawa and Vlad are terrible teachers. What? Hey. With the 3 UA teachers starting to argue, Mario and Peach took control of the commentary. It appears that the competitors have made it to the next obstacle, the bottomless pits. Mario announced. Midoriya, Bakugou, and Todoroki found themselves staring at a large pit with platforms placed between them and the other side. Attached to each platform were ropes, strong enough to carry someone across. See you losers later. Bakugou took off and was flying over the pit with his quirk. Todoroki hopped onto one of the ropes and used his ice quirk to skate across. Midoriya thought about what to do. He then had an idea. He climbed onto a rope and began to traverse it until he was in the middle. He then climbed up and onto the rope. Then he began to jump on it, higher and higher. Hey Mario, isn't that one of your moves? Peach asked. Yeah, I did give Midoriya some private lessons after all. He must have picked up a trick or 2. Mario answered. The 3 UA teachers stopped arguing to see what Midoriya was doing. Once Midoriya was high enough, he charged 20% of one for all into his fists and released a punch that sent him flying toward the other side. He flew past Bakugou and Todoroki, and once he was close enough, he punched down, sending him up and slowing him down. He then rolled forward as he made it past the bottomless pits. Deku. Midoriya. Bakugou and Todoroki said in anger that Midoriya had just passed them. Holy CRP. That was amazing. What an awesome play by Class 1A's izukumidoriya. Present Mike shouted. The whole crowd was cheering at what they witnessed. Bakugou and Todoroki had just made it past the pits and raced forward to try and catch up with Midoriya. Soon Midoriya made it to the 3rd obstacle and was confused by what he saw. Todoroki and Bakugou caught up and were just as confused. Our front horses have made it to the 3rd obstacle, and this was provided by our new teachers, the Wonder Flower. In front of the 3 students were in front of a floating flower, but it was strange. The area around the flower seemed to be warped and distorted. They just stood there, not knowing what to do. F this. Heroes don't back down from a challenge. Bakugou said as he rushed forward. Todoroki and Midoriya did the same. As they reached the field, they were distorted and warped, and then they were sucked into the field. What the heck? Where did they go? Present Mike asked. The Wonder Flower can warp reality in a confined space. We won't be able to see what's going on out here. But we had special cameras set up so we'll be able to see them on the big screens. Mario explained. Everyone turned to one of the numerous screens around the stadium and saw the 3 students, but they looked different. What the hell? Huh? What? Bakugou, Midoriya, and Todoroki were now giant spiky ball in some kind of castle. What happened? Vlad asked. The flower distorts reality. Now the 3 students are those spiky ball and they have to find the flower to get out. I see. Is there a point to this, Mario? Well, Aizawa, when doing hero work and chasing down villains you never know what to expect. They may have an unknown agent that will throw something completely unexpected at you. This will teach the students to expect the unexpected and not be too reliant on their quirks. Of course, not everyone will become a spiky ball. The Wonder Flower is random. Peach explained. I see, then this is a good test then. Should keep the students on their toes. And provide entertainment for our audience. Present Mike added. Everyone watched to see what the 3 would do. See you losers later. I'm off to the winner's circle. Bakugou shouted as he rolled through the castle and a brick wall. Todoroki grunted and followed after him. Midoriya took a separate route to try and find the flower before them. Soon the rest of the competitors made it to the Wonder Flower and went into the distortion. Some students found themselves being chased by singing plants, others were being chased by singing ghosts and fake doors, and so on. All the students tried to find the flower to make it out of the Wonder Field. Man, those are some crazy effects. That Wonder Flower is crazy, yo. Indeed, where did you get it, Mario? Oh, it's from a friend of mine. He grows these thanks to his quirk, but the effects don't last long. Just enough for training or a sports event. Mario explained to Aizawa. Aizawa knew Mario's friend didn't have a quirk since he was more than likely from Mario's world, but Mario couldn't say that here since that information was still confidential. Aizawa nodded and continued to watch his students navigate the wonder effects. Ida, Yaoyorozu, and Mineta were in some slime palace with platforms that tilted. Ida was doing his best to balance himself since the slime made the platform slippery. Mineta, though, was having a strong time adjusting. My ball don't stick. My ball don't stick. He shouted as the slime prevented his sticky ball from sticking to the platforms. He was panicking when he saw Yaoyorozu up ahead. She had made some kind of footwear that made it easy for her to traverse the slippery platforms. Mineta grinned as he hatched a plan. He threw some of his ball at just the right angle so that they would slide into him. He then angled himself so he would bounce off of them and onto Yaoyorozu. I got you. Mineta shouted as he was launched toward Yaoyorozu. She turned and looked in horror as Mineta was closing in on her. No! She shouted. Many audience members were shocked by what they saw, especially the females. Aizawa. Peach said while covering Arie's eyes. Aizawa turned to Peach along with present Mike and Vlad. Yes, Peach. Aizawa groaned. You better get your student under control, or else me and my trusty frying pan will. Peach said with a glare. Aizawa just nodded and looked away. He would make sure to have a one-on-one talk with Mineta about this kind of behavior. I can see most of the female audience agrees with her. Present Mike commented, noting that many women in the crowd were nodding their heads in agreement. Back with Midoriya, he was traversing the castle when he heard a faint sound. He looked up and saw it, the Wonder Flower. But it was so high up, how would he reach it? He then noticed that there was a ramp nearby. He rolled to the end of the hallway he was in and rolled forward, gaining momentum until he hit the ramp and was launched towards the Wonder Flower. Screw you, Deku. I don't think so. Bakugou and Todoroki shouted as they burst through the ceiling and towards the flower. All three hit the flower and were transported out of the Wonder Field. As soon as they hit the ground they rushed forward to the finish line. Ah man, it's neck and neck. Who will claim first place? Present Mike shouted. The crowd cheered again as they watched in anticipation. As the three approached the entrance, Midoriya borrowed one of All Might's attacks. He jumped forward while turning to face Bakugou and Todoroki. He then charged up 25% of one for all into his arm and released a punch. New Hampshire Smash. The wind pressure from the punch pushed Bakugou and Todoroki back while pushing Midoriya forward. He twisted himself and rolled forward as he landed, then continued to sprint forward. Bakugou and Todoroki quickly recovered and rushed forward to catch up, but it was too late. And first place goes to Izukumidoriya. Midnight announced as Midoriya crossed the finish line. Everyone cheered for Midoriya as Bakugou and Todoroki came out of the hallway claiming second and third respectively. Midoriya then turned to the seat All Might was in and gave a thumbs up. All Might smiled and gave a thumbs up back. Unknown location. We see Tamura Shigaraki watching the sports festival on a computer in a dark room. He was staring at the screen with anger as Izuku Midoriya was announced as the winner of the obstacle course. That was one of the kids I was about to kill when the pink beach stopped me. I don't know what it is, but something about him irritates me. Shigaraki said as he was scratching his neck. Meanwhile, the MSTR of the League of Villains was also watching the sports festival from his room. And while Izuku Midoriya's power did stoke his curiosity, it was one of the obstacles during the game that truly caught his interest. A flower that can warp reality in a confined space. How fascinating. I must acquire one for study. The MSTR had a large grin as he looked back at the files of Mario, Luigi, and Peach that Tamura had gotten for him. These new teachers are very interesting. I wonder what other wonderful secrets they have. As he was pondering this, his phone rang. He looked at the caller and his grin grew even more. Yes. MSTR, we have retrieved the items you requested. Excellent. Was there any trouble? No, the fools had no idea what they had in their possession. It was easy to deal with them. Any survivors? Negative. Good, I don't like leaving loose ends. Bring the items to Dr. Garaki immediately. I want to know what these power stars are truly capable of. Yes, MSTR. He ended the phone call and turned back to the screen, the light from which revealed a disfigured face hooked to various life support machines. This was All for One, the mastermind behind the League of Villains and the one who wounded All Might so many years ago. He had managed to track the locations of the power stars and sent agents to retrieve them. The two that Endeavor and Edge Shot had failed to retrieve were picked up by local gangs who were trying to sell them on the black market. If only they had been more cooperative with my demands. They could have avoided their messy ends. No matter, now I'll see why these power stars are so important to you, Mario. All for One said to himself as he focused on a video feed from the mall of Mario and Luigi's fight with Overhaul and his men. The strength and power they showed could rival All Might's. Then there were the abilities they had. He was curious as to how they had acquired such power. If it wasn't a quirk, then what was it? Whatever your secret is, I will make it mine. All for One said with a sadistic smile. Back at the sports festival. The rest of the competitors had just made it past the finish line, ending the first game and signaling the start of the second. All the others were sent back to the stands. The ones who did make it were talking amongst themselves. That wonder flower was so interesting, shroom. I was turned into a walking mushroom and had to avoid all kinds of hazards. Kimori said with a smile. Her classmates were a little unnerved at how happy she seemed at that. Yeah, I was made out of metal where I was sent. I was completely indestructible and could walk through walls of electricity like nothing. Kamakiri said. I guess you know how Tetsu's quirk feels now. Must have been great to be indestructible. Kendo said. Yeah, but it did make things harder. The Wonder Flower was at the top of the maze we were in, and being made of metal made me much heavier. I had to use my blades to climb up the walls to make it. Wow, I guess the new teachers didn't make it easy for anyone. Yeah, they really pulled out all the stops with that Wonder Flower. I was in some weird shadow jungle that made me tall. Awaze said. Really? How did you find the Wonder Flower? Setsuna asked. If we crouched, we got really short and the trees would follow. We had to find the tree with the flower and crouch to bring it down. What about you, Tokage? Me and my group were chased by rampaging bulls. Or at least I think they were bulls. They were blue. Well, whatever they were, we had to ride them and catch the flower as it passed by. Class 1B continued to talk about the wonder effect while 1A did the same. Man, that Wonder Flower was weird but cool. What did you do, Deku? Uraraka asked. Oh, I got turned into a giant ball and had to roll around a castle to find my flower. What about you? I was turned into a slime and had to squeeze in between crevices to find the flower. Interesting. And you, Ida? I was transported to a castle that was covered in slime. I had to balance myself to not fall while finding the flower. I must say, these challenges were certainly unique, and they did test us on what to do when thrown a strange challenge. I thank our new teachers for helping us grow as heroes. Ida said while doing robot chops. While he was doing this, the other students were also talking about their challenges. So I had to avoid being eaten while I was turned into a mushroom. Ojiro said. Wow, sounds tough. Siro said with Tokoyami, Shoji, and Koda nodding in agreement. It was. What about you all? I was sent into a haunted house with Tokoyami and had to avoid singing ghosts and fake doors. Siro answered. Fake doors? Yes, they appeared normal, but once you tried to open them it was revealed they were monsters disguised as doors and trying to eat us. Tokoyami continued. How did you find your flower? Shoji asked. Some doors were real and we had to determine which ones were. Once we found the correct doors, we found the flower. I see. And what about you two? Siro asked Shoji and Koda. We were in an area that had time effects. It would speed up and slow down randomly. Shoji answered with Koda nodding. How did you deal with that? It was difficult since we had to adapt to our bodies moving slower or faster than we wanted them to. But we managed to find the flower and make it into the top 42. Siro and Fumikage nodded at his explanation. Soon, the ones who didn't make it were in the stands, leaving only the remaining competitors. Alright, now let's see what the next event is. Midnight announced. Soon the competitors gathered in front of a large screen as it flipped through the different games it had. It stopped and landed on one that was different than any games held before. Kart Battle. The students and audience members were confused by this event. I can see many of you don't know about this event. That is because this is a new event created by our new teachers. Peach, do you mind explaining? Everyone turned to the commentator's booth. Peach nodded, handed Arie to Mario, and exited the booth. Then she jumped and floated down to where Midnight was. The audience was stunned by her grace and beauty. Once she landed, Midnight handed her the mic so she could explain. Okay, so the way this works is that you will be in teams of 2 and will ride these go-karts. The screen changed to show a go-kart with 2 seats. One for the driver and one behind for the passenger. Each team will have 3 balloons with point values based on how well they did in the previous event. These balloons can be stolen by being grabbed by other racers or if you are struck by an item from one of the item boxes that will be spread around the arena. The screen then showed a picture of what the arena would be and what the item boxes looked like. The arena was a large square made of gray stone materials with 2 floors and ramps at the corners that connected the floors. In the center of the bottom floor was a platform surrounded by a pit with 4 bridges connected to it in a cross pattern. The top floor was similarly designed and also had a center platform with 4 bridges connecting to it. There are 6 items you can get from the boxes and each member of the team can hold 1 item. The first item is the green shell. You can throw it and it will ricochet a total of 3 times before it breaks or it hits someone. The second item is the red shell. Similar to the green shell but with a homing function that will chase the nearest opponent down. The third item is the banana peel. You can drop it and it will trip up any racer that comes into contact with it. You can also use the banana to stop oncoming shells. The fourth item is the mushroom. It will speed up the racer who uses it. The fifth item is the bomb. It is a walking bomb that will explode when thrown, or if you drop it, it will walk around for 5 seconds before exploding. And finally, the last item is the superstar. Any racer that uses this will get a speed boost and total invincibility for 10 seconds. The screen showed the various items and descriptions of what they do. Also, since this is a hero school, you are allowed to use your quirks. If struck by a quirk, the racer who landed the hit will get a balloon from the one who was hit. Also, if you run out of balloons, it's not over. You can still fight to capture more balloons to increase your ranking. And the items can be affected by quirks as well. For example, if Midnight were to focus her quirk on a green shell, then whoever she hit would fall asleep for a few seconds. This caused the students to get excited. They were already thinking of ways for their quirks to amplify the items from the boxes. Oh, and as for those pits you see in the arena, anyone who falls in them will lose a balloon. But the balloon will be sent to one of the center platforms instead of going to a team. Any questions? Peach asked. Azui raised her hand. Yes. How many points will each person have? I know you said it was based on our performance, but what are the values? Also, what happens if we get an item box and both members already have items? We will explain the point values soon, and as for your other question, if you get an item box while you are full of items you get nothing. But the box is still destroyed and will respawn after a few seconds. It could be useful to prevent other teams from getting an item. Everyone nodded at this. Now, another rule, only the person in the back can use an item. This shocked the students. That's right, the driver has to focus on driving while the person in the back will focus on offense and defense. That's dumb. Bakugou yelled, getting everyone's attention. Then what the hell does the driver do with their item? Simple, Bakugou, you either give it to the person in the back or perform a maneuver to switch seats. The screen showed Mario and Luigi in a cart and switching seats. This may be difficult to perform, but it can be useful. You all have different quirks after all. There may be a moment when you'll want speed instead of attack power, so the person with the appropriate quirk will switch to the back while the other takes the driver's seat. Does that clarify things now, Bakugou? Yeah. Bakugou said with a feral grin. Good, now as for the points, they will begin at 5 and will increase by 5 going up from the 42nd place. But the first place will have a special point value. The screen then showed Midoriya with 1 million points. Midnight then took the mic. That's right. This is your chance to change your standings. Will you defend your place at the top, or claw yourself up from the bottom? Everything can change in this event. Midoriya could already feel the hungry eyes of all the other competitors on him. Huh. I wonder if All Might has felt like this before. Back with All Might. It may seem harsh, but this is the truth of the real world. Popularity plays a big factor in hero work. And it can be a cutthroat business with everyone trying to take the spotlight. But I know you'll pull through, young Midoriya. All Might said to himself. Back with the contestants. Alright, now you'll have 5 minutes to find a partner. After you find one, go to Mario and Luigi, who will give you your cart and instructions on how to use them. Midnight announced. Everyone started to find a partner while Peach took Arie from Mario and headed back to the commentator booth. Midoriya was trying to find a partner, but everyone was avoiding him. CRP. Makes sense since I'll be a huge target. Hey, Deku. Midoriya turned to Uraraka. Let's team up. What? Are you sure? You don't mind we'll be targeted because of my points? I mean, it will be strong, but I don't care. If we run away then we'll be fine. I think you're underestimating everyone else or overestimating me. Phooey. Besides, it's better to team up with people you like. Midoriya began to blush at this before he turned to hide it. Yeah, alright then. Let's do this, Uraraka. Hey. I wanted first place. No fair, you can't have him. They turned to see a girl with pink hair and gadgets approaching them. Hi. Who are you? Midoriya asked. Hey, I'm Hatsume and I want to use your popularity to my advantage. Mei said as she got uncomfortably close to Midoriya. Huh? What do you mean? If we team up, then everyone will be watching us and all the support companies will see my babies in action. Huh, babies? Midoriya and Uraraka asked in unison. Mei then lifted her shirt, causing Midoriya to look away and Uraraka to panic. Luckily, she only lifted it slightly to grab a remote from her waistband. She then pushed a button and 2 large cases came out with support gear in them. Since I'm in the support course, I'm allowed to bring all the gear I want as long as I made it myself. If you team up with me then you will also have access to all this gear. While that does sound useful, I'm good. I already have a partner. Midoriya answered. Uraraka couldn't help but smile at this. What, fine then. Mei put away her equipment and took off in a huff. I wonder what her deal was. She just wants to show off her invention, Uraraka. The sports festival is a big opportunity for all the classes, not just the hero course. This could help her get scouted by support companies looking for fresh talent. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we should head over to Mario and Luigi to get our carts. I hope they're simple to drive. Midoriya and Uraraka went toward Mario and Luigi. Meanwhile, many people were crowding bakugou. Hey, team up with me. No, team up with me. Please team up with me. Sato, Mina, and Aoima said to bakugou. Bakugou found himself surrounded by his classmates, all asking to team up. He looked around at them before he looked straight and asked. Okay, who are you again, and what are your quirks? Seriously. They all yelled, shocked that he didn't remember a single one of them. We're your classmates, dude. Zero said. Yeah, and? Just tell me your quirks already, you extras. They were all taken aback by his attitude. That's when Kirishima pushed his way forward. Yo, bakugou. Hey, weird hair. What? My name's Kirishima and my hair is not that different than yours. At least mine's natural. Now what do you want? Harsh. Anyway, I want to team up with you, bro. You want to go for the 10 million points. Then you'll need someone strong enough to tank your explosions when you use them. My quirk allows me to get rock strong, so I'll be fine if you let loose. Come on, let's go for the 10 mil bakugou. These were the only words bakugou needed to hear. Alright, you're in weird hair. Now let's go. Bakugou said with a grin as he went to get his cart with Kirishima. Everyone else left to find other partners before time ran out. Soon all the pairs were made and had their carts. Mario and Luigi made sure to go over how to drive the carts with each pair and also told them how to drift boost. After all the teams were ready, Luigi walked into the center of the field with a large box. He then placed the box and pushed a button on it, and suddenly the box expanded until it was large enough to swallow up all the teams. Then it stopped when it was large enough to cover the field, and transparent walls revealed that the teams were all in the battle arena that was shown earlier. Amazing. What is that? Vlad and Aizawa said. Allow me to explain. That box works on the same level as the Wonder Flower. The box is a separate world, so we could hold this event. Mario explained. I see. This is astounding technology. Are you willing to share it with us? We already gave the blueprints to Power Loader Vlad. It's up to him to figure it out. Mario answered. Good. We could use this to create better simulations for rescues or hostage situations. Something that'll prepare our students for the realities of hero work. Aizawa nodded at Vlad's statement but then had a thought. Mario, are the students able to get out? Don't worry, Aizawa. We can get the kids out with the push of a button. When the box closes, everyone inside is harmlessly ejected out. They could also get out by flying through one of the invisible walls in the box, but that would be immediate disqualification. Midnight finished. All teams must remain inside the box until the game is over. Anyone who breaks this rule will be immediately disqualified. Darn it, there goes that plan. Uraraka said in disappointment. When Mario said that the students could get out by running into the invisible wall, she was already coming up with a plan to use her quirk to get away from pursuers. But Midnight's rule stopped that idea. It's fine, Uraraka, we can still win. Midoriya said as he gripped the wheel of his cart. He was thankful that these carts were simple to drive. Oh, and another thing about that box. Anyone inside will not sustain serious injuries. So go all out, kids, give it everything you got. Mario explained. Bakugou liked this fact. Now he could truly go all out and not have to worry about the extras getting too hurt and him getting expelled. Right, with that said, while you can use your quirks and items you obtain to attack the other racers, you can't pull them off of their cart. You can grab the balloons, but any attempt to pull a racer off and I will give you a red card, which means you're out. Now, only 16 contestants will be able to proceed to the next round, which means only 8 teams will pass. Are you ready? All racers nodded at this. They each got ready as Midnight prepared the countdown. Some took count of the balloons they had. Each racer had 3 balloons. The points of each was the team's total score divided by 3. Midoriya took note of his. 1 balloon was worth 333 points, while the other 2 were worth 333 As long as he had one of these balloons, he was a target. But that would mean if someone did manage to take one, then they would become a target as well, taking some of the heat off of him. And honestly, he only needed one of the high-value balloons to make it to the next round. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 4. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author The Crimson Yinglet on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.